You are listening to Bloomberg Businessweek. Carol Master along with Tim Stenovic. Well, late last month, we talked with Ali Goldstein, L'Oreal Paris USA president, and we talked about a lot of things, but in particular about the company's Women of Worth program, which highlights women who are agents of change. One of those women joins us now. She's L'Oreal Paris USA Women of Worth honoree, Briana Daniel of Street Team Movement, and she joins us in our Bloomberg Interactive Broker studio wearing a Women of Worth or Worth It hat. Welcome. Congratulations on being part of this group.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Well, it's really remarkable about the women that are always honored by L'Oreal. And often it's women who have experienced something, gone through something, and then thinking about how to be truly an agent of change and reach a wider community. Tell us about Street Team Movement and how this movement came to be. What was the moment?
Oh, man. So Street Team Movement is a nonprofit organization that provides hygiene to the homeless community through vending machines. So they're able to access the hygiene items for free to them through a card that is called the Hope Card. It's registered to our homeless friends, and they are able to swipe. They get 3 swipes a week, which is 3 either hygiene pouches a week. They can also vend out a 6-in-1 laundry product and take it and get a load of laundry washed and dried all through the vending machine as well. So the moment we started Street Team Movement, it was just after college for me, and I moved to near downtown Orlando, and I realized that the homelessness was a problem. It was something that was just staring me right in the face. And then I decided to take action, and I actually lived on the streets homeless for 32 days to actually understand what the homeless were experiencing, what their struggles were, but most importantly, what did they need and how we can best meet those needs.
Wow, it's incredibly powerful because people a lot of people who work with people who are unhoused don't actually go through and have that experience, let alone have that experience for more than a month. What specifically did you learn about people and like you said, our friends who are unhoused?
Yeah, I learned that there's a lot of services being provided, at least in the metro downtown Orlando area. There were a lot of food services that were being provided. One of the things that we noticed is that people would literally stop their car and just have, groceries in their car, and they just give them out. There's so many good intentioned people and good-hearted people, and that was something that I really noticed that was great. But I think I also realized is that consistent programming was something that was needed specifically for hygiene. There was no one that was out there providing laundry services. We didn't have consistent access to showers. There was something that was a gap. So Street Team Movement ultimately did become a gap filler because we saw a need and we went in there and just dominated it.
Briana, I always think people often think, well, the solution is put people in shelters or have them to shelters, and that's how they do it. But there's a lot of people who don't, because a lot of times shelters aren't a great place to be.
They're not a great place to be, especially for our homeless women with children. There are oftentimes people with criminal records in there. There's oftentimes people that are they're pedophiles in there, and it's tough. First, being in the situation of being homeless, but also trying to protect your family, trying to protect the innocence of your kids. So oftentimes, you're led to make tough choices when you're out on the streets, especially as a woman.
Talk a little bit about the Women of Worth and being an honoree there, because as Carol mentioned, when we did speak to the folks from L'Oreal just a couple of weeks ago, we learned about this amazing network of people who come together. And in the more than 15 years that L'Oreal has been doing this, it sort of turns into this idea of staying in touch with this amazing group of women and people all over the country who create this network.
Absolutely. And you use the correct word, Tim. It's the network. It's absolutely amazing. Over 160 women strong. So to be a part of this fantastic, not just the Women of Worth organization, but just the L'Oreal Paris previous honorees, and really just being able to connect with them, seeing what they have taken away from the program and what they're doing. It's just, honestly, it's such an honor.
All right, I want to take you back, though. Tell me about, you said you lived alongside Florida's homeless population for more than a month. How do you do something like that? And how do you do that without being offensive or it's uncomfortable for people who are living on the street? Like, how do you do that? Tell me about that.
So honestly, Carol, it was more so I was young. So at the time I was 20 years old when this happened, and our homeless friends just wrote me off. They thought it was a teenage runaway. So I kept to myself a lot of times. I asked a lot of questions, but more so came from a place of just ignorance. I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
And there were people that were willing to come alongside me and help me, let me know what time certain organizations are coming out and they're providing food, or which shelters are providing showers, what day is this happening, when is someone doing haircuts or anything, so they really were able to come in and let me know the ropes, so to say, while I was out there. And it was incredibly scary, especially being a single woman on the streets.
Because you were there at night?
Yes, I didn't sleep. I want to say the first 2.5 days, yeah. I didn't sleep until I found a place to actually sleep. So it was really great in theory until it gets dark and downtown is completely deserted, and it's just you standing there with a backpack and no plan. And that's when it becomes completely real to you that you have some choices to make. And thankfully I ended up finding a really safe place to sleep during the rest of the time that I was out there. But it was incredibly scary.
What did you learn about, look, this is a crisis happening throughout our country. Yeah. What are some messages for policymakers about understanding the homeless population and how we can actually combat it?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And that was actually one of the biggest struggles for us our first years with Street Team Movement, Inc. And it was speaking to our policymakers and letting them know that what we provide as hygiene is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Yep. And I remember standing in a council meeting.
It's amazing that you even have to say that, right?
It was so insane. And I said, okay, show of hands, who showered today? And every hand went up. And I said, stop showering. If it's such a luxury, just stop doing it. You can't, because you need to do it. You have to brush your teeth. There's things that you need to have access to. And it's not just a health issue. It's not just a health crisis. It's confidence. It's self-worth. And you see yourself better. You see yourself as a human. You start acting differently. You start believing that there is hope and someone sees you and someone cares about you and that there's hope for a brighter tomorrow, not just the situation that you're in.
Where do you want to take it? We've only got about 50 seconds left here. What's your thoughts about how you continue your work and where you want to go with it?
Absolutely. We have our amazing hygiene vending machine model, and I would love to see those in any city that absolutely wants one.
Great idea.
Yeah, any city can have one. You can swipe the same Hope card in Orlando as you could in Chicago, anywhere. So honestly, go to our website, streetmovement.org, find out how to get a vending machine and get plugged in.
Who gets the cards? Who's funding them? Just quickly.
We give out the cards, we fund the cards.
You fund them. Okay. So working with cities, towns, states to maybe hopefully be a part of this?
Absolutely. And it's completely free to our homeless friends.
All right. Great stuff. Stay in touch. Let us know how things are going.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And congratulations. It's really, really amazing. Briana Daniel, she is of Street Team Movement, founded it, is doing this work, and is part of the L'Oreal Paris U.S. Women of Worth. She's in one of the honorees. But again, it's just understanding a situation and coming up with a solution and changing people's worlds. And
really immersing herself, too. Wow.
Absolutely.
More than 30 days homeless.
And that's how you get to see something, right, up front and really understand it. All right, folks, coming up next, Sound On with Joe Matthew, taking through the day's news.